super busy, and I know you're interested in getting to the subject. So what are we talking about? We're talking about The Happiness Animal by Will Jelbert, okay? So I found a book summary that I'll kind of go through and share with you guys, just because I think it really provides context, and you can find that on www.happinessanimal.com. So the summary is as follows. After myth-busting What Makes Us Happy, Will Jelbert presents practical exercises for 5 happiness muscles, from offering a stranger to a tissue to being radically honest and creating a statement of your life purpose. Backed by research from the world's leading psychologists, this is a candid roadmap to a better life now. So the summary talks about 3 of the happiness kind of tools and things that you should consider, but if you want to know all 5, what do you got to do? Get the book, obviously. Go to dressingroommate.com to pick up the copy of the book, and I think you'll enjoy the read. I think you may or may not agree with everything. I definitely didn't agree with everything, but I appreciated the candid conversation for sure. So first off, honesty is the first happiness muscle. Exercise yours and drop the 3 words that turn you into an instant liar. The book summary goes on. Kindness is the second happiness animal. When you buy a paperback copy of this today, a hungry child will be fed for a day in partnership with the UN World Food Program. So he, I think, did some type of partnership there with the Share a Meal app plan. That's really cool. Then curiosity, awareness, and courage are the other 3 he talks about. And again, if you want to know all of like, what does it mean? What do you mean by honesty? What do you mean by kindness? What do you mean by curiosity? ... Get the book, guys. That's I think is really key. But one thing I will say is that for me, when I was reading the book, and I'll go through some passages now to give you guys some context. And if you have questions and if you have tips on like what you're doing to be happy, I think that would benefit the group. So please share them, and I'll obviously read it out loud so everyone can hear and get a grip. But I think happiness is something that some people get it, some people don't get it, in the sense of, does it take work to be happy? I think the answer is yes, to be honest. But is it worth it? Yes, every single time. Does everyone know what makes them happy? I think instinctively, yes, but sometimes I think you need help and you need some coaching, right? And you need some support in helping you frame the narrative of your happiness, because I think there's some things across the board that make people happy, right? Like security, having a home to live in, food, water, right? Like there's different levels of happiness, but he goes through a whole like breakdown psychologically of like, what are some myths? What are things that people don't know about happiness? And so that's why I think it's a really interesting read, because if you've never taken an analytical look at happiness, this is probably the best book that you can find to do this. And so like in chapter 1, he says, before you begin, a man's as miserable as he thinks he is, Seneca. And he gives a lot of like really interesting quotes that you can like think about and really kind of dive in with. And then he has another one. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. Einstein. Very true. Right? And so awesome. Yes. So thank you. You shared it from, yep. So, and also on Dressing Roommate Book Club, I've shared the link. I think Khalil shared that. Yeah, definitely pick up the book there. And some myths that yeah, so okay, so he has like one exercise. Yes, help through coaching does make a difference, says Shaquan. Absolutely. I think that coaching is one avenue that people can explore for feeling happier and exploring levels of happiness. But ultimately, remember guys, because she's a coach, I'm a coach, ultimately with coaches, do remember that whoever the client is, you have to do the work, right? So as coaches, we can break down and help ask questions that you maybe haven't thought or kind of made to yourself. But ultimately, if you say to us, okay, well, what would make me happy is if I had 15 minutes in the morning to myself, right? And so then what would a coach say, or what would I as a coach say to you? I would say, well, what are you doing to make those 15 minutes happen, right? Like I'm a no bullshit kind of right to the point person. And so that's when you, the client, would then have to figure out, okay, let me look at my calendar. What are the obstacles standing in the way? And we could work through how to demystify the idea that you can't find those 15 minutes. But absolutely, I think a relationship with coaching, developing tools and techniques with a coach can definitely take you much further on your happiness journey. And so for instance, Let me go through some exercises that he shared because this was interesting. So in chapter 2, Shaquan says, absolutely, you have to do the work. Yeah. Coaching, the key with coaching, and sometimes I think this is where people get a coach and then thank you, Khalil, for sharing yes, if you're interested in my coaching, definitely go to dressingroommate.com/coaching. You could get all the services there. And if you go to schedule a session, that's where you can sign up for free consultation. I do all free 30-minute free consultation. So have at it. Let's chat, right? But chapter 2 is when he goes through and says what you think makes you happy, but doesn't. And he includes another quote, but we'll go through some myths, and I think that will be really interesting for us to talk about. And I want this to be conversational, guys, so please put in the comments like what you're thinking about what I'm going to read, and let's talk about it. So happiness myth number 1, money will make you happy. So do you think this is true or not? I'm going to read what the author wrote. He wrote, in a survey published in the American Economic Review, 2,699 participants were asked to consider the following scenario: either choosing a job that paid us $80,000 a year with good working hours and a full night of sleep, or choosing a US $140,000 salary with long working hours and only 6 hours of sleep. Which do you think most participants chose? So most of them chose the higher paying job, and then what would you choose? How much is enough? And then he goes on to kind of saying you need money, but studies conducted by Stanford and Harvard universities have shown that once you meet a threshold that covers your basic needs, more money beyond that threshold will not make you any happier. According to Professor Dan Gilbert, the threshold in the USA is about $40,000 US dollars. So cost of living varies, but the point is that once you cover your basic needs, any increase in your cash levels will not have an impact on your happiness. Do I agree with that statement? Yes and no. I think yes, a level of happiness is going to come by covering your basic costs of living. Absolutely. Do I think that not exceeding that level is not going to make you happier? I don't necessarily think that, because what if that's a part of your goals? Like if your goal is to be wealthy, then going beyond the existing amount you need would make you happy. You're satisfying the goal. Now, if he's saying from the point of view that if people make this grandiose statement of more money you have, more happiness you'll have. No, not necessarily, right? Because with more money, like anything else, has another host of complications, has another host of things that you're dealing with. But is it worth that for the amount of money you have? It depends on what those complications are. It depends on that person. It depends on their mindset. It depends on the support system they've put in place. So outrightly, no, I don't think that saying if you go above covering your needs, you won't be happier. No, I wouldn't agree with that, but I'd love to hear, your thoughts as we continue on with the conversation. And he goes on and he has it's so interesting. In the book, he has different explanations that he defines and words he defines. Very interesting setup of the book for sure. Another happiness myth that he talks about: things will make you happy. Think about that. Will things make you happy? So he says, happiness expert and University of Illinois psychologist Ed Dierner straight up says that materialism is toxic for happiness. Using 2 measures of subjective happiness, a study by W.B. Russell and Advances in Consumer Research found that materialism is negatively related to happiness. The more materialistic you are, the less happy you are. What is more sinister? Materialism correlates with serious psychological issues such as depression, narcissism, and paranoia, a correlation exposed by researchers Kasser and Ryan, who published their findings in A Dark Side of the American Dream. So Shaquan says, I agree, more money helps, but will not make me happy. Okay, so interesting. So for me, I would say a part of my happiness achievements and goal is definitely making money, is definitely doing good in this world. Shaquan wrote, for me, it is living out my purpose. Yeah, exactly. I think if you're living in your authentic truth, I think that goes a long way of making you happy, because you're not living a life that you don't feel is made for you and kind of divinely made, you have a purpose and you're enjoying it. So I agree with you. I think living in your purpose and your truth definitely makes you happy, but can make a person happy. But for me, I wouldn't say having more money wouldn't make me happy outrightly. For sure, I wouldn't say that. I would say it's a part of a equation, right? And so that's where I think that you know, kind of these absolutes. Like, it always makes me think back to, I don't know if anyone's a Star Wars fans, but I forget who said the line. Maybe was it Obi-Wan Kenobi who said only a Sith thinks in absolutes or something like that. Like, I just think that a Sith Lord, that you can't, sometimes life is, you should totally simplify life as much as possible. But when you think about things that are more of a journey, not a destination, happiness is a journey. It's not a destination. So it's easier to be absolutist with something that's a destination, right? It's yes or no, left or right. But when something's a journey, then what's that mean? Then your decisions and your desires change and mold, because what? The journey is going different places. So I think it's a little bit harder to just outrightly say yes or no, for me at least, right? But you have to make that decision. And if you want to engage in the conversation, get the book. It's in the comment section, actually. Let me pin that if I can, but I'll see if I can pin that later. But, you know, think about that. Next happiness myth that he goes through, luxury and comfort will make you happy. So he's claiming this is a myth, right? So what does he... Oh, okay, so Khalil added, Obi-Wan Kenobi said, realizing that Anakin is consumed by evil and there's no reasoning with him anymore, only a Sith deals in absolute. Okay, yeah, great. So I didn't know if Obi-Wan Kenobi actually did say that. But yeah, I just think that, like, and Sith Lord, guys, that's not something to, like, want to be. Like, that's, like, bad. I have an example of who I would think is a current day Sith Lord, but I won't say it. But if you get my drift, you know who I'm talking about. So yeah, I just think that you have to be careful about looking at life as only this or that when it's not a destination. Like I said, if it's a destination, right? You either want to be an executive, not be executive, be an entrepreneur, not be an entrepreneur. Like if you want something and you can actually arrive at it or not arrive at it, cool. But if it's something where it's a journey, like happiness, like joy, like parenting, same thing that, yes, you can be a parent, but the type of parent is a journey, not a destination, right? Because it changes as your kid grows. Anything where there's evolution, in like kind of partitioned, or not partitioned, but kind of wrapped up with it, that's where you have to say, right? And you have to start to think, well, what do I want right now, right? And then 6 months from now, what do I want? And always be checking in with you. I think that sometimes we have this desire to check in externally, but ultimately it's your life. You have to be checked in with you. You have to be checked in with your level of happiness, and you can never expect anyone to make you happy. So I think that that's definitely a theme that I got from life so far in my own living. And with this book, that's where probably I would say I had the biggest issue with it, in the sense that a lot of the exercises you'll do in this book involves other people. And that for me was a little bit problematic, because I think that happiness is an inside job. And I think, yes, you can touch your tribe. Yes, you can touch your friends. Yes, you can touch your family members and talk to them about this. But ultimately, I would have wanted the exercises crafted with just me and me alone. I'm not interested in having to call a friend and go through and say things, because ultimately my level of happiness has to be addressed by me. It's not involving other people. So that would be like my biggest critique of the book, but we digress a little bit. I want to keep going to some other myths, and then we'll kind of keep this party train going. Shaquan says, yes, you have to check in with you. Exactly. So coach to coach, right? The coaches have said it, so you have to do it. Happiness myth number 3. Luxury and comfort will make you happy. Luxury and comfort and quality do not make you happy. First, they make you comfortable, and then they make you bored. Of course, there are some bare necessities of human existence, the kind of psychological needs represented in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You don't want to be too hot, cold, tired, thirsty, hungry, or in pain. But being at just the right temperature does not strengthen your happiness muscles. When I moved to the USA, I thought I'd be happier doing my research by the swimming pool, lying back in a sun lounger, rather than feeling happier. What I felt was emptiness and frustration and distraction. That's interesting. What do you guys think about that? That if you have more comfortability and luxury in your life, does that make you more happy or less happy? That was a very interesting share, because I think for me, I can only speak on my narrative and my experience. I would say that I could understand the boredom piece. I could understand that if everything is right and you don't have a little bit of opposition in your life, a little bit of challenge, that you could maybe get a little bit complacent with your situation. I think challenges are good because they show you what you're made of and they help you stay on top of things. But, oh, Khalil wrote, obviously Khalil's not taking this conversation too seriously. He wrote, comfy blankets are nice. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Gotta love it. Ladies and gentlemen, husband of the year. Amazing. We're having like a serious conversation and we're now talking about comfortable blankets. Killing it, Khalil. You're killing the game here, guys. Yes, comfortable blankets are actually always a good thing. So that's the exception. No matter what in life, get a comfy blanket. We have like 27,000 because I'm obsessed with blankets. So completely agree. But on the note of comfortability in your life without the blanket, my dear, where do we stand on that? If you have thoughts on that, I'd love for you to add that in. I think again, this is happiness is that internal journey, guys, right? So it's a subjective assessment that for him being more comfortable didn't make him happier. But again, I don't think that that's a myth that would apply to everyone. So that's interesting, right? Another one, and then we'll kind of go on to some tips just because I think that, we could read the book together forever, but you guys got to get the book. You got to read this. Shaquan wrote, love blankets. Yeah, exactly, right? Gotta love a good blanket, man. Like, it's kind of reenacting that feeling of being in the womb and you're like, I'm safe and I'm warm, right? And at least in my mind. Happiness myth number 4. Appearances will make you happy. So is height and a pretty face a source of happiness for either holder or beholder? The USA is the #1 country in the world for total spent on cosmetics. But according to the Satisfaction with Life Index, SWLI, the USA ranked only 23rd in the world. Japan, the second biggest spender on beauty products, is one of the lowest SWLI ranked countries in the world, 90th. Wow. What is more notable is that the 2 countries with the lowest spending on cosmetics, the Netherlands and Sweden, have high SWLI rankings, 7th and 15th respectively. Interesting. So does focusing, and that's ironic, right? As I have a face full of makeup on, does appearance make you not happy? Again, I will say that I kind of disagree with that statement because for me personally, I enjoy makeup. I enjoy putting it on. I enjoy when other people like my makeup and they're like, oh, what are you using? It starts conversations for me with people. I like sharing my beauty story. I like hearing about other beauty people's story. So for me, I enjoy makeup. Am I wearing it because I don't feel comfortable with my face alone? No. Shaquan, right? Wow. Yeah. I think that that's interesting. I love lip gloss. Like, I love beauty products. I don't love it because I think it's making me a better person. I don't think I need it. I could totally go alive. I could go in life without makeup, but I wear it because I enjoy to wear it. I'm not doing it for anyone else. I'm not doing it because I need to. So again, that's, it's a myth, but I don't necessarily agree. Next one, and the last one I'll share, is more time will make you happy. Now that's a kicker, right? Will more time make you happier? He claims it's a myth. Here's why. There is a fine line between occupied and preoccupied. Neither one makes you happy, and nor does having time to kill, having more time could actually make you unhappier depending upon how you use that time. Research by Wharton professor Cassie Mulgner has proven a paradox that busts the myth that more time will make you happier. The paradox is that the more time you give away to the people you care about, the more time affluent and the less rushed you feel. So the more service you are, the more you will feel happier. I think that that makes sense. I think that that comes down to the more you give, the more you receive. That's like a biblical principle. And Shaquan, yeah, look good, feel good. Yeah, completely, so again, I like the book, but I definitely was challenging the different comments and the different research that was presented, which I think that's the fundamentals of making kind of a really good book and a good book conversation starter. Because when you read books, depending upon what you're reading, I think when you're talking about a self-help book or a book that assesses something that's really important in your life, you want to be challenged. You want to think about, why do you think this way? Why do you disagree? What is the reasoning behind this, right? So Thank you everyone for the hearts and loves. Keep them up. I'm feeling all the love. This is making me happy, right? And so he has more myths that you can go through, but I will just go through as we finish up, because we are actually near that time. And again, I do want to leave time for anyone who wants to present a question, and maybe, you haven't so far, feel free. So what are my thoughts on how to be happier? I would say, for me, what I have found so far in my life for what makes me happier boils down to this. Stop living for others is one. The minute that I decided that I have to prioritize me every single day, and again, I want to preface that with the idea of most of what I do is in the service of others. It's giving content, it's coaching, it's consulting, it's mentorship, it's guidance. I give probably the majority of my day in the service of others as a part of my business, because I've crafted a coaching and consulting business to do that, right? That was my intention. So I do think, though, by working on that and not living a life to be a traditional lawyer, or not working to do what other people expect of me, I am much happier. It is a great read. So definitely go to dressingroommate.com, guys. You can pick up the book right on the homepage, and it's a really good book to pick up. So that's one thing. I would say another thing. Hey, Tiffany. Thank you, Khalil. Love it. You guys are awesome. You're the best. Another thing I would say is, if you want to be happier, then you have to focus not on the problems or limitations that you perceive in your mind, but what are the solutions? What do you want? If you focus on that every single day, if you literally set the intention for what do you want to accomplish, what do you want out of the day, instead of all the obstacles or problems that you think you're having, which you may be having, right? But a lot of times we create limitations in our mind, and that's where it becomes challenging, and that's where we feel defeated before we've even gotten out of the bed. And that's where we say, okay, we have to shift our mindset. We have to shift how we're viewing our lives to have happier lives. So I would just encourage you to focus on what do you want, and whatever challenges you're dealing with, how can I solve them? Being a solvent, focusing on the solution instead of the problem, is an easy way to get happier instantly. Another thing, get rid of the toxic people in your life. Guys, I am telling you, I have like a very small network of people that I actually share information with. Yes, focus on the solutions. I have a very small network of people that I would classify as a friend. Why? Because there are too many people out here who are dead set on being negative and dead set on making you just as miserable and negative as them. So I tell you, even if it's someone you work with, even if it's someone you're related to, I do not care what their title is in your life, get rid of them. Now, maybe you still have to work with the people, but you have it at a distance, right? We're not sharing our personal information. We're not sharing a bunch of stuff with these people, but you've got to cater your life in a way and tailor it to only including people who are bettering you. If I outrightly ask you, okay, this person makes you feel bad, do you voluntarily still talk to them? Yes. Okay. So you would say, what would my next question be? Why? Get rid of the toxic people. I'm telling you, it can save your life. I swear to you, it can. So please, if you want to be happier, stop inviting negativity, right? Positive is the opposite of negative. So you've got to find a way to cut that shit out, like ASAP, okay? Next, I would say decide to be happy. Happiness is a choice, just as sadness is, just as anger is. All of those things are choices. So when you wake up, right, in the morning, and you're like, okay, I did this whole book club thing with Natasha. Okay, I'm going to try to be happy. What are 3 things that you're going to decide to be happy about? Absolutely, Shaquan. Protect your space. Yep, I love her. See, she's like, and then she wrote, bye. Sharon wrote, bye, Felicia, LOL, bye, toxic. Yeah, there's no space for it, right? There is no space. You have to decide that there's no space for negativity in your life anymore. Just nope, we've been friends long enough, right? We have been friends long enough. Enough is enough. So yes, protect your space, protect your network, and make it tight, guys. You can work with a lot of people. You don't have to be friends with those people. They don't have to come to dinner with you, right? I think sometimes people blur lines because they want to do more together. So they're like, oh, well, we should be friends. We should hang out. No, boom, boom. You can have business and you can, again, people want to do business with people they like. So yeah, you want to have good business relationships, but be careful about who you say is your friend. Be careful about who you share your information with, because people can what? They can use it against you. They can try to harm you. Sometimes what? The closest people hurt us the most. So that's why it's really important to be guarded in that sense. Share your truth, share your narrative with the world, create your message. A lot of people here and here have things that they're doing. Definitely do that. But all I encourage you is that you have a really tight network of like who your friends, who your tribe is, because your tribe isn't everyone. You're building a tribe of people to support and believe in what you're saying, but your personal support tribe, that needs to be a limited group of people. Because why? Also, whatever they're giving you, the positivity they're giving you, you have to give to them. So you know, that's a lot of energy. So it's an energy exchange. You want to be careful about giving and thinning out your energy too much. Next, deciding to be happy. Like I said, make the decision every day. Wake up. Okay, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to have prosperity. Why? Write it down. Put it on your phone. Write it down. Make the decision though. And then also make sure that you're motivating that specific type tribe around you to do the same. It's a lot easier to be happier when the people around you are on that same mission, right? But when you're trying to convince people, no, come on, hubby. No, come on, boo, friends. Right? Like, no. And then gratitude, guys. I read this on Facebook. Gratitude changed your attitude. People underestimate the amount of glory that they have in their life every single day. What are 3 things you can be grateful for today? I can name mine. I'm grateful that I woke up. That is a blessing. It is another day to win. It is another day to inspire. It's another day to activate. I am grateful for my husband. He's my best friend. Khalil is my heart and soul. I could not exist without this person being here and making sure that I'm my best version of myself, because he won't tolerate anything else. And I need to have that, right? And I think most people need that person that they know they can look to and they're like, all right, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go be better. All right. And then also I'm just grateful for people like you guys, that I can do these events, and I'm grateful that you give me your time. Shaquan, Sharon, right? Everyone, all the people who are watching. You guys, and Khalil, yes, you guys are here and you're supporting me. I'm grateful that I have people in my life who do that, right? Because not everyone can say that. So I'm grateful that I have people who are willing to give me their time and willing to share my message and share what I'm about. So that is something I'm really grateful for. So those are some of the tips that I would suggest for you to think about when it comes to your own happiness levels. If you want to talk about this further, y'all know what you need to do. Go to dressingroommate.com. Like I said, I do free consultations. Even if it's not about your career and you're like, okay, Tasha, I want to talk to you about creating like a happiness plan for me. Let's do that, right? I'm happy to do that. I'm happy, happy, happy. Shaquan, you're happy for life, health, family, friends. Yeah, that's another one. Health. Oh my gosh, guys, I've been through some really, Sharon, we love hanging with you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I've had some really interesting health issues in my life, and really started since I was 14. You know, I'm blessed to be alive. I'm blessed to still be pushing. And hopefully I can get some full answers to help other people so they don't have to deal with these things. But yeah, the health is another one, guys. Oh my gosh, that's a good one. So with that, I think we're going to come to a close with this book club meeting. Guys, pick up the book if you're interested in assessing your happiness, if you're interested in challenging some of the myths that you think about happiness, because I think Will does a really good job of putting together some research and sharing, what he's discovered on his journey. And Shaquan, thank you. She says she loves my energy. I try, guys. I try to just, again, it's about living my truth. I feel like I'm living the life I was meant to live, and I'm doing things every single day that I always wanted to do. So it's easy to be happy. It's easier, right? It's much easier than if I was trying to live a life not for me. If I was trying to live a life of things where I'm not doing what I want. So that's why it's, I can give 1,000. You'll see me at 1,000 all the time because I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm present and doing it. And if you don't feel that way and you want to talk about that, that's what you got to do. Sharon says, loving yourself and you will be happy. Yeah. Love you. Love the life you live. Love the people in your life. All of that matters, right? So with that, go to dressingroommate.com to sign up for my November book club. You'll get all the details. We're reading a really cool book. It's the Dark Tower, I believe, by Stephen King. So that's a part of a series. We haven't read a book, a part of a series yet, but I wanted to try it for the book club because, again, I want different books. So we have self-help, we have fiction, we have romance. I'm doing all different types. So if you have recommendations as well, share that with me. Hit me up on the website. Hit me up in the book club itself. Hit me up by email, natasha@dressingroom.8.com, okay? Yes, self-love is number one. I love it. Y'all are like just living this. I love it, love it, love it. So with that, thank you for tuning in. The link is there to get the book. But like I said, go to dressingroom8.com to pick up the book. If you want to contact me, that's how you can set up a session to talk with me. And like I said, if you're not familiar with my platform, I talk about innovation when it comes to your personal life, when it comes to your career. These ladies know I will get you where you need to be if there are things that you need to work on in your personal life or in your business. Let's talk, because I'm an innovation activator, guys. That's what I do every single day. So with that, thank you for your time. I had a blast. I'm feeling very blessed and happy about this conversation and the information and content you guys are sharing. If you have book recommendations, hit me up, share, because I'm planning for the 2019 schedule. So if you want books in there, you gotta talk to me. All right. So the website again, dressingroom8.com. Email natasha@dressingroom8.com. Alrighty. So have a good evening, guys, and I'll see you soon. Get the book, okay? Innovation activation. Yeah. You ladies are the best. Thank you for everyone who tuned in, watched us on the live. Thank you if you watch us on the replay. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye.